Hello everyone and welcome back to episode of the month. This is the show where at the end of every month or beginning of every month, depending on when it drops in our schedule, I look back at the month that was and talk about my favorite episode of television that came out that month. This time around we're going back to May and we're looking at some pretty fun stuff. May was a great month for television. So many new things started up again, so many great shows were returning. But there was one episode that really surprised me. Now, I did a full-on review about this episode, so going into this video, I was like, how am I going to do this when I've already pretty much talked to death about this episode? And of course, we're talking about Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Episode 4, Memento Mori. I wanted to take a minute just to appreciate what this show is doing, because I think this is something that we've needed to return to. First off, I understand that where current Star Trek is and you want to get new characters and new ideas being presented. But as you are doing that, there is a necessity to take original characters that we are familiar with from the classic series and kind of like revitalize that. I think that's an important thing that you're going to have to do for fans at some point. I also like the idea of just like updating what that is, where it's like, hey, you know Uhura, you know Spock, you know Pike, you know Number One. We can take that concept and actually make it something special. And I think this show is doing that better than any other show focusing on characters we've known before. This show has just given us so much depth to these characters, given us great ideas for these characters. It's amazing that modern Star Trek can look this good and feel this good. But this episode in particular really showed me the power of serialized storytelling. Because it really just said, now we're going to take a minute and let it breathe. We'll come back to this in a second. It's very cool. It's very cool the way they're just like, no, this is intense. We now have the visual effects and the budget to tell a completely insane story about being chased by the Gorn. Look what we can do with that. Oh, is it cool? Again, I spent a lot of time talking about this episode already. So I just kind of want to hit on a couple of points that I really liked, that I appreciate about this episode. I love the use of Noonien singing here. I think Leonie's been a character who is very mixed for me. She did some interesting stuff in the beginning, didn't get much to do, but having her be the focus here, you see the feel and the pain of the Gorn and like what they can actually do and what they are physically capable of. And in my comments in the last video, somebody said, well, the Gorn were in Discovery. Well, I didn't watch Discovery. So seeing like the Gorn as a real threat here through Leon's perspective, that is really cool. It's very impressive and did some great stuff. I liked seeing that. I loved how Pike was calm the entire time. I really respected that. This guy's like, okay, we have no more weapons, our shields are down, everything's about to go wrong, we can't survive this. I'm going to act like a diplomatic captain the entire time. That was really impressive. That was a really, like, just having that moment, but in like the quiet seconds, when he thinks that Hemmer and Uhura are dead, he's just like, I'm calm. But the moment he realizes they're alive, instant he's like, oh, thank God. Like, that is brilliant writing, brilliant acting. I need just to talk about Anson Mount for a minute, because this guy gets it. This guy gets franchise work, I think, better than most. He's very committed to this because it's a role that anybody would want. He's essentially playing the proto-Kirk. And it's such a good thing to see. It's so strong to see that performance work and feel so authentic and feel so cool. I love what he's doing here. The quiet moments are working for him. I love his speech. It's like, hey, we might not survive this, but it's been great. We're going to be okay. The Enterprise can survive anything. Let's get through it. And I love the moment where it's like, okay, well, we got all else. If they're going to board our ship, we're going down with them, okay? Prepare for battle. I love that. He's just ready in every situation, completely calm, completely intense. I love that. It was such a good moment for him. Really cool to see. I love when we entered the Gorn cave through the mind of, Spock's mind meld. That was really cool. It looked great, very intense, very scary. Oh, this show just knows what it's doing. It's so confident in itself. It can just like take a minute, slow down, and tell a really good story. I respect that immensely. You don't see much of that anymore. It's just very cool, very strong. Look, Star Trek has always been something I've admired, but I've never found like a modern show I've connected to that much. I'm an original series guy. I always have been. I always talk about that. this is the closest I've felt like coming home to that, you know? And this episode really made me do that, because it's like there's love for the Enterprise, love for the characters, seeing everybody operating at their best, seeing the way this crew comes together to help each other, seeing the emotional journey of characters. You're getting that in a very strong episode about really cool people. I really enjoyed seeing that, and I love where this went. The camera work is great. The writing is great. It is amazing television. It is the best episode I saw this month, and I wouldn't be surprised if come June, see another one in there too. Because Strange New Worlds is doing something I wasn't expecting from this show, and that is genuinely surprising me at every turn. And that is why Memento Mori is my episode of the month. Now, if you guys want to know more about this episode and my thoughts on it, you can check out my review. I will link it here. You can find it. But until then, thank you guys for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Have fun, stay safe, good luck.